Good morning. Okay, again, just playing around with my angle here. Gather your stuff. Again, I'm just using, for a strap, I'm using like one of those stretchy bands. So if you have a strap, that's great. Or a necktie, or a scarf, or a stretchy band. They all work. The other thing actually I was playing with yesterday was like a dowel. I don't know, we call it a dowel. Actually, I'll just call it a stick because that's what it was. It was a stick, so this actually would even work for that. I'll just grab it. Literally a dowel. I think maybe we can all go on an adventure in the woods and find one of these, because maybe by next week I'd like to do a class with this. I had a lot of fun with it. So yeah, it would just be strap. You could use that if you happen to have a stick in your house right now. Hi, Catherine. It's always a little tricky for me to see my mat right away. Hi, Christina, is that you? Yes, good morning. Lovely rainy day out there. So I'm just gonna move here. Can you guys see me okay? I know you can see me. Can you see my mat? Once these all start popping on, it's hard for me to tell. We're gonna start. I'm gonna give you two options. Jane, Eileen, oh, look at the crowd this morning. Fun. Okay, so I'm gonna give you two options. We're gonna start with a check-in. So you're welcome to just start in a comfortable seated position for that. Or if you feel like you'd prefer to come onto your back into constructive resting, you can do that too. So either one. I'm gonna sit. So hopefully you have a blanket, some form of cushion or bolster or something, and a strap. Okay, so if you're in a seated position, you don't necessarily have to sit cross-legged. So as I've mentioned before, you can always sit on your shins, or I like to cross my ankles in front of me a little bit, not sort of hook them in, but anywhere where you can get your knees to drop down would be ideal if you're sitting. Prop your hips up a little bit. Feel free to grab more than one cushion. And hi, Kathy. And if you're in constructive resting, down on your back, knees bent, feet planted. So just take another moment or so to settle in, get cozy. Begin to embody the shape that you've chosen to land into. So whether that's on your back or a seat. And just taking a moment, maybe closing your eyes. So moving into an embodied presence. So what is it that helps you to recognize that you're in a body? What is it you feel? Whether that's temperature or texture, or the pace or the pulse of your breath. Maybe you notice any tightness or tension, clenching, gripping, softness. How do you know you're in a body? And part of that body that we are in and occupying has a mind. So perhaps just noticing how present the mind is into the body. Sometimes it's a little bit of a chicken or an egg scenario. As the body, when we start to just kind of feel it, the mind kind of follows. But maybe we need to direct the mind to a point where we can anchor onto to pay attention. And when we pay attention, there's often an exchange that we experience of some sort of awareness, a little information or feedback. So aware of being in this body, and how is it that you are aware that this body is on the earth? Noticing all the bony landmarks, all the places that feel heavy and connected down into this force of gravity. If you're on your seat and you're upright, you have a sense of kind of lifting up and away from the earth, or do you feel as though you're sinking down into your seat? Do the shoulders feel soft away from the ears, but just a very gentle sense of ease and lift through the spine and the crown of the head? Maybe very similar if you're down on your back, noticing to the backs of the shoulders, the outer edges of the upper arm bones, do they meet the surface beneath you? And maybe even paying attention to where your hands have landed. And would it offer you a sense of kind of being a little more in your body if your hands were on your body somewhere? Just notice that. Let your hands just move anywhere. It kind of just brings you a little bit more awareness, a sense of being in. Today I'd like to, throughout our practice, just kind of play around with being the movement, being in and with the movement, and maybe a little less on the willing the movement, on sort of just doing and kind of listening and just sort of guiding the body, but actually being in the movement. So this place of embodiment where we can kind of tune into our natural instincts, our own kind of rhythms and needs and desires of our own unique body. And simultaneously having this kind of dance and this opportunity to be ourselves. So take another moment, just witness the movement, the spaciousness, and the rhythm of your breath. Your in and your out breath. Just a little poem here to start us off. If you could call it perfection, what would it look like? how would you know it? Feel it. Be it. Wherever you are now, call it perfection. And know that in this moment, it is really enough. So in the shape that you are, just feel the earth that supports you kind of fall just a little bit heavier into that. Feel your next in-breath rise up and above and out and spacious. And then exhale just a little longer, a little slower. Can you find a pause for maybe the count of 3 at the bottom of your out breath? Take another full, wide, spacious in-breath to lift out and up. Exhale, long, deep, and heavy. Find a pause. Inhaling one more time, full, big, spacious. Exhale all the way to empty. And then take your time, fluttering your eyes open. If you're on your back, just maybe rolling around from side to side, knees to chest, feet to sky. Eventually, we're going to just meet in standing. And have your strap, your scarf, your tie, your stick, whatever you've got. And just take a moment here in standing, just kind of holding the strap in front of you for a second and just observe, how does it feel up around your thoracic spine? So that's going to be about the space of here, kind of like your rib cage to your collarbones, the bottom of your rib cage to your collarbones. So not only in the front of your body, but in the back of your body. So this is the area we're going to focus on a lot today. So just start to feel that space, just notice. Does it feel like your shoulder blades slightly move when you breathe? Nice. And then take the strap you have and just pull it apart out in front of you, a little bit wider than shoulders probably. And then start to lift that up overhead. You can pull it behind you and forward. So just a little bit of movement here. If you have anything going on like rotator cuff or kind of fronts of your shoulders are tender, just maybe only coming so far and really just focusing on pulling the strap apart. So when you lift up and over, if you're doing that, again, still lifting and pulling the strap apart. And can you feel where the shoulder blades move when you do this? Get a little creative. Maybe one arm goes straight up to the sky and one arm out to the side. Just kind of warming through the shoulders a little bit. Maybe you pause at one spot and just take a breath. Can you notice if your shoulders are creeping up to your ears? Can you drop them down? So maybe drawing the shoulder blades together at the back of your body. Maybe a little side bending. So just kind of get creative. This is where our instincts to move in ways that benefit our own body can really tap into that. So maybe you bend your elbows and sway around and just kind of feel like you can move from the bottom of your rib cage up. Just like wiggle around and maybe the chest lifts or the back rounds. Just kind of find a few variations on that. All right, bring that down towards your hips. Hinge over your hips as you pull that back behind you. So a little bit of a bend in your knees, but think more about lifting through the tailbone and the sit bones and creating space in the back of your legs and your hips. And pull the strap apart. Nice long spine, roll the shoulders back. Crown of the head lengthen, so you're looking down towards the floor. Inhale, come on up as the strap comes up overhead. Maybe lift up through the chest. Exhale, hinge at the hips. So just getting the hips involved here, opening up, hinging over the hips. And you press down through the feet, through the heels, through the outer edges of the heels. Nice, come all the way up, over to one side. So again, just from that rib cage. So really think about lifting the rib cage up off your pelvis here. Up and over to your other side. So again, just kind of being with this movement. So not just kind of willing a side bend here, but really be with your rib cage and the space that you can create there. How's this feel in your shoulder? What do you need to do to feel comfortable here, to breathe? Nice. And come on up and let that go. We'll say goodbye to that for now. Come on down to your mat. I'm just going to say you can put a blanket here. You don't necessarily have to, but bring a blanket down. You're going to come all the way down to your belly. Okay, weird. I can't see myself. That's all right. Okay. So coming down into Sphinx posture, so you're going to be on your elbows and your forearms. You can clasp your hands or you can place them down in front of you. So take a moment and just kind of grow your legs a little bit longer here. Press down through the tops of your feet. And as you do that, can you even press a little more to the pinky edges of your feet? You can have your feet together or you can have a little bit of space between them. All right, and if that starts to speak to your low back, you can send your elbows a little wider and then find the bones of your pelvis and press those down into the mat as well. All right, so low body is long, pressing down and strong, and then start to find a lift. So as you press through your elbows, the collarbone lifts and then sink yourself down into the space between. So you're moving through your shoulder blades, lift up, lower down. And feel free to kind of do this from like shoulder out in front of you a little bit, circle around again, just kind of explore, just be with this movement. Move the elbows away from you again. If the low back is talking to you, press in through the feet and in through the pelvis, bones there. Just kind of circling things around. All right. I'm going to stay a little bit lifted, but I want you to come down. So elbows out, hands planted, and bring your forehead to the back of your hands. All right, give your hips a little wiggle. Wiggle the feet and the heels from side to side. Just kind of loosen the low back up a little bit. All right, you can stay with your head down, or you can lift your head just a little bit. Reach your right arm out in front of you. So up overhead, palm facing down. And you're just going to swing it down along the side of your body, just like you're making like a snow angel movement down towards your leg and thigh. And then reach it back up overhead. So just really slow, simple movement here. Just reaching, kind of guiding the fingertips. They'll touch the floor and then down to your side. Out and up overhead. Only going up overhead as far as is comfortable for your shoulder. Breathing here and just noticing what's moving in your shoulder blade, the back of your body here. Nice, and then let that relax. Bring hands in front of you, forehead rests on the hands. Just a few breaths into the belly. And then your left hand's going to reach up overhead. You can lift your head a little bit, or you can just have it resting on the back of your hand. And then just sliding that hand down the side of your body and up overhead. Again, simple movements, slow it down. Is it your mind that's moving the arm, or can your body actually move this arm and really think about what's happening, what's making this action of your arm reaching up overhead and down alongside your body. Is the shoulder blade moving? Can you find movement in the shoulder blade? Nice, just release that. Hands in front of you, forehead rests. Feel your breath in the space of your low belly, your low back. You can wiggle from side to side. All right, next, reaching the right arm overhead. Turn your palm to the sky. So your thumb's going to be pointed out to the right, your palms to the sky. All right, lift that arm up a little bit. And this is where we're, again, going to anchor into the low body. So the tops of the feet, the pelvis presses down. You can lift your head a little bit or leave it down on the ground. The arm is going to lift up and then reach down and out to your side with the palm up. And I mean, it may start to turn a little bit. And so just start to like, this feels maybe a little awkward, a little weird. Just do what you can here. Notice there's maybe a little shakiness. If the arm feels fatigued, you can just kind of glide the back of the hand on the floor. That's okay. Just a little bit more there. Nice, just let that rest. Breathe into your back. And then your left arm reaches up overhead, palm to sky, thumb turning out towards the left side. Anchor into your low body, press into your pelvis and the tops of your feet. And then same thing on this side. So bringing the arm down at your side, just kind of working to keep the palm up towards the sky. And what needs to happen to make that action and that movement? What do you notice about the sides of your body, your armpit area? Nice. Release that. Take a few breaths into your back. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press up to a tabletop. Keeping the hips somewhat above your knees. Start to walk your hands out in front of you. So they can be really wide. And then when you feel like you're almost going to fall, bring your rib cage up towards the back of your body. And then start to bring your forehead down. So very similar to a child's pose, but a little bit more of a stretch to that upper back area. Hands can be really wide, like even as wide as your mat here. Let your forehead land onto something. Maybe even sway your hips from side to side. If that is really tricky on your shoulders, come to your forearms and pull yourself back. Forehead still lands down. Engage through the belly and release from that shape. Nice. And then we're going to come to sitting. So any way that's comfortable for you. So maybe that is just sitting on your shins and onto a pillow, or maybe it's cross-legged. You're always even welcome to sit on a big stool or a chair if your knees or anything's bothering you. All right, so when you find your comfortable seat, just take a moment and notice thoracic spine, so the place from the bottom of your ribs up to your rib collarbone, the front and the back of your body. And can you breathe a little wider into that space and just notice if anything feels a little different. Nice. And then we're going to start to move into a twist. So bringing the left hand to the right knee or the right thigh. Right hand reaches behind you. And then switch to the other side. So just moving back and forth through this. You can move nice and slow and take a pause at one end. And notice here, as you move from side to side, you're most likely moving from your waist, from the very bottom portion of your rib cage. Maybe not, but I'm going to just assume that most of us will be moving from the waist because that is where we tend to have a lot of mobility in our spine. All right. So come back through center for a moment. Just relax the shoulders. Bring your left hand to your belly and your right hand to your chest. Okay, so we're going to turn and twist to the right, but I want you to think about your belly staying forward and you're actually going to move from your chest. So start to turn to your right, and if your left hand starts to go with you, can you kind of pull it back? And it's probably going to be pretty small movement. So moving just from the chest. All right, and then as you twist, typically we look over the right shoulder, which you can do for a moment. Just feel a little stretch in your neck. And then come back and just gaze forward in the distance, in the amount of rotation that your upper back and chest allowed. So you're actually just going to gaze forward to as far as you've twisted. Reach your right arm out in front of you and then start to reach it back behind you. Palms facing forward, fingertips are wide. So just feeling that rotation. Come back through center. Right arm's out in front of you. Reach towards the front of you. So you're like almost imagining that you're pulling your shoulder blade away from your spine. You're creating space. All right, and then again, start to rotate just from the thoracic spine. The right arm could guide you and turn and twist through the thoracic spine. And your gaze is going to want to go with your hand probably, but keep it forward just as far as your chest is rotating. Reach forward again. This time we're going to cross the body. So cross the body and reach through the back of that shoulder blade. And then open again and twist from the thoracic spine, turning the head only as far as the chest moves. This time, you'll feel yourself draw your shoulder blade towards your spine. Relax the shoulder. And then start to reach as you turn towards your left and forward. And the shoulder blade moves away. And again, that hand on your belly, belly's still facing forward. And we'll do that one more time, opening up. Squeezing the shoulder blade. Maybe that allows you to rotate a little more through the thoracic spine. Keep the gaze forward over your chest and then bring it back. Relax that down. Just kind of feeling anything that's happening in the shoulders. All right, right hand to your belly, left hand to your chest. Start to turn and rotate to your left. And can you feel that your belly is still facing forward and you're just turning from your chest here? And then come back to the center. Let's do that one more time. So turn from your chest, thoracic spine. Turn and look over your left shoulder just for a nice stretch in your neck. Come back through center. That left arm reaches out in front of you. Open it up wide. Feel a nice stretch across your chest. And then start to draw the shoulder blade towards your spine and allow that to rotate the thoracic spine to the left. And keeping the right hand and their belly forward. And the gaze is only going as far as your chest is turning. And then reach forward. And reach the arm away from you again. Find space from shoulder blade to spine. Open that up. Nice stretch across the chest and draw the shoulder blade to spine, and the thoracic spine starts to twist and rotate. Make sure you're breathing. Bring it forward that arm, chest, gaze, and then across your body. As you reach across your body, reach from the shoulder blade to the fingertips. Start to rotate through that chest. And again, open it up. Shoulder blade moves back towards your spine. Thoracic chest starts to turn. Breathing. And then reaching forward again, across the body one more time. Reach through that shoulder blade. Open that up. Drawing shoulder blade back, shoulders relaxed. Chest is rotating to the left, belly's facing forward. Breathing. Nice. And then release, come back forward. All right. So coming up into onto your knees, we're gonna move into a lunge. So I want you to make sure that your knees feel really supported, but we can also do this in a high lunge. Okay, so stepping your left foot forward. Maybe you're in like a 90 degree angles here. So your right knee is below your right hip. And your right knee is somewhat above your right ankle. Tuck that back toe under. And actually let's lift, if possible, lift to hover that knee. Okay, so a lot of effort here. I'm going to talk for a moment, so if at any point you need to drop down, that's fine. So we're going to lift up here, so holding, really press into that front heel. You're going to feel maybe a little shaky or a little wobbly, and then your pelvis. Can you notice that your pelvis is neutral? Your tailbone's kind of sending and it's going down towards the earth, okay? You're not curving in your low back. All right, and you might actually feel a little bit of a stretch to the front of your leg here. So with the pelvis neutral, so bring your hands here. We're going to keep the pelvis here and press through your heel, your right heel, to kind of start to straighten your leg. All right, and there might be a tendency to want to do something like this and reach way back, and you'll notice that your pelvis tilts forward. So come back to a neutral pelvis. Let's come back down. All right, so what I want to work on here is actually hip extension. And what hip extension is your leg behind your pelvis. And often we think we're in that, but really what we're doing is just tilting our pelvis forward into an anterior tilt, which kind of dumps us into the low back. So just kind of playing with a little bit of an active stretch here. Okay, hands to hips. Feel your neutral pelvis. Feel your tall spine. Let's take an inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down. Hands to hips. Hover that knee. Nothing really changed here with your pelvis. You're probably just feeling a lot more effort. All right, then start to press back through the heel, keeping the pelvis exactly as it is. Probably feeling quite a stretch here as we actually move into hip extension. Nice, maybe take a full breath in, reaching the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down. Come back down. And we'll switch sides. Take a moment though, just kind of wiggle that out or move around however you need to. Circle the hips or cat and cow or anything like that. Okay, and then right foot comes forward. Tuck those back toes under and then let's lift to that hover. So let's make sure your feet are wide and you feel pretty stable here. And look that your back knee, your left knee, is below your hip. That front knee is somewhat above your ankle. And your pelvis feels neutral. Tailbone's going down towards the earth. And you feel like a sense of length to your spine here. So as you root down, feel that your pelvis can maintain this same shape as you press back through your left heel. Your leg may not come straight, that's okay. Pelvis doesn't move. And then come on back down. Just take a moment, just kind of wiggle around. We're gonna do that one more time on that side. So toes tucking under, come on up. Root down. So it might feel like you're slightly tucking your tailbone, but I want you to just think more about tailbone to earth. Long spine, shoulders relaxed. All right, then pressing, this is hard, press through the heel and feel that extension. So left heel's pressing. Nice. Let's take a breath in, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the arms down. Bring the weight forward into that right leg and step forward. All right, shake it out, wiggle it out. Shoulders, arms, hips. Let's do like a good shake here on everything. I was thinking about doing like a whole class on shaking. 2 thumbs up, anyone? Can show me those later. Okay, so just shake it out. Especially when we're sort of feeling this like universal kind of like contained feeling. I think that we're all, nervous systems are a little bit on and reactive. It's always really good to just kind of shake out some of that energy and emotion so we're not containing it or putting a lid on it, giving it a space to move. All right, make sure you move your head around a little bit. Even drop the arms down in front of you. Shake, shake, shake. All right, nice. Just moving my blanket out of the way. All right, so just a nice wide-legged stance. Toes pointed in, if possible. All right, take a moment and anchor through the outer edges of your feet. Lift your toes, anchor through that big toe mound. Press a little more to the outer edges of your heels again. Spread the toes, let them come down. All right, can you imagine that you were pulling your mat in towards center? All right, and then press the mat out. Pull the mat in. So can we imagine our inhales are pressing out through the outer edges of the feet as we inhale and rise the hands up. Exhales, draw the feet in towards each other and fingertips come down in front of you to touch. Inhale, press out, take up space. Exhale, gather that in towards center. Maybe you feel a little taller here. Inhale, feel even space around your sit bones, inner groin, and exhale, feel the inner groin working to pull the feet together and lift you up. You might even feel like as you inhale, you sink down a little bit, and the exhale, you grow just a little bit taller. Just spend a moment, can you just embody this movement? Nice. And then release the arms down. Kind of relax a little bit through the legs, give them a little shake, a little wiggle. All right, reaching the arms out from your heart, palms facing down. We're going to turn from the thoracic spine. So start to draw the right shoulder blade back and turn. And remember, it's not really the like the biggest rotation, it's just a small rotation, and you're only gazing as far as your chest can turn. You're feeling the back of your right shoulder pulling you into that thoracic twist. And then come back through center, and left arm begins to turn, and that shoulder and back body brings you into a thoracic twist, only gazing as far as the chest rotates here. Nice. And then come back to center, relax the arms. Heels in, toes out, hips drop down. All right, so just sinking down, maybe wiggle from side to side a little bit, lift your heels, just move around. Notice that the bum's not sticking way out, that maybe you can even do a little bit of pelvic rocking here, a little bit of movement, and then find neutral. So tailbone's dropping down towards the earth and the spine is tall. Bring the hands up to the back of your head. All right, and then bringing your right elbow towards your right knee. Lift your left elbow up towards the sky. Come on up to center. Over to your other side. A little bit of space in that rib cage. One more time to either side. Nice. Relax the arms down. Come on up tall. Walk your feet in just a little bit here. Hinge over your hips. Let your spine round, come into a forward fold. Feet are probably a little bit wider than your hips and your body right now. Relax your head. Sway. Bend your knees. Start to roll up to standing as you press through the heels and through the feet. Chin stays tucked. Head comes up last. Shoulders roll back. All right, bring your feet in a little bit closer, maybe towards hip distance or so. Take a nice tall inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinging over the hips, soft bending your knees. Let your spine round forward. Let your arms relax, sway or move any way that feels good. Shake the head out. You can always grab for opposite elbows if that feels better for you. Big bend in the knees, slow as you can. Roll yourself all the way up to standing. Roll the shoulders back, maybe arms come all the way with you. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to actually end our class together here standing. So just take a moment. You can bring your feet right together. You can step them wide, hip distance, wherever feels most comfortable. Bringing your hands at your heart center. And just take a moment to relax through the shoulders and through the breath. You embody this shape. Can you feel a little heavier down towards the earth? Feel the earth that supports you. And can you rise up and out of that place? What is it here that makes you really aware that you're in a body? And let your hands rest down at your side. Open your eyes. Just gaze off into the distance for a moment. Into the furthest place that you can see. Drop your chin down towards your chest. And lift your chin up towards the sky. Look way up. And then come to neutral and tall spine. Look over your right shoulder. It's the furthest distance you can see. Back through center and over your left shoulder. The furthest you can see. And then back through center. Take a big full breath into your body. And a full exhale down into your feet. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, for practicing along. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.